Hey everyone, and welcome to day 25 of my horror movie review marathon, and I will be talking to you guys about 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Wes Craven is one of my favorite horror directors around, and even more so when he directs the 1984 Nightmare on Elm Street. I feel bad for not seeing this before the Jackie Earle Haley remake, but now I see where all the best scenes came from. The ones in the remake that I thought were my favorite that were also in the original one. Several teenagers are stalked and killed in their dreams by a guy named Freddy Krueger who wields a glove of razors. I basically watched this movie to see how much better it was than the remake. Not that there was anything, horribly wrong with it, but, this movie was just, a charm all on its own. Remake was just a creepy slasher horror movie. Right off the bat, bad things are happening in this movie. Robert Englund is pretty brilliant as Freddy Krueger, and even from his voice to his actions, just like the way he moves around, I thought it was just absolutely creepy, and it was completely unexpected coming from him because, I just think it was insane. Just thinking, Jackie who? He was just so creepy, and I hated when he just started running after his victims. It didn't look silly at all, especially when his arms were completely extended and he was running like that girl from Taken. Only I have a bit more respect for him than her. He seemed like he was just running and having a wicked good time, which, showed off his charisma, and it was just really, creative, and it showed that, maybe he's not such a bad guy. Oh, but he is very terrible things in this movie, which originally wasn't how the movie was supposed to play out. Unlike the remake, if you've seen it, that's how it was supposed to happen. The actresses in the movie were much better than I had anticipated, and they were not your typical, actresses, like in horror movies and the way they are. They all seem like the same, as I said a couple movies back. I think they were pretty good. Especially the girl that played Nancy in this movie. I thought she was... Johnny Depp in this movie was a huge surprise. I felt the same way when I saw John Travolta in Carrie. So, you have these sort of big name actors in these movies, and this is kind of where they sort of started out. But Johnny Depp, I kind of am not surprised because he's been in some horror movies. And he was also in a movie called Edward Scissorhands. That's pretty crazy. I think the concept of it, of how the antagonist would kill you in your dreams, was pretty creative, and it was interesting how the storyline played out, and it was just pretty fun to watch, even though it's not fun to watch people getting killed in some pretty strange ways. And they were just getting killed left and right. The parents in this movie, of course, they have to be really ignorant to everything that their kids are trying to tell them, and they just wanted to keep a secret and hide it from their kids, and they act all like, oh, it's okay, honey, you're okay, you're just going crazy, you need to be committed. Nancy's parents, who they mostly showed in this movie, and her dad was a cop, so he should have known better than to treat her the way he did. But they were just being overprotective of her, really severely overprotective, and maybe a bit too extreme for my taste. This part of the movie would have to be when Nancy is setting up booby traps in her house to try to capture Freddy Krueger and pull him out of her dream, to her mom's shock and dismay. I thought it was more like, okay, what is this? Home Alone Horror Edition? I'm just wondering how someone like her could rig up her house. Surprisingly, there wasn't as much blood in this movie. It was just a lot of scraping noises and cackling and all that stuff. But there was this one scene that got pretty gruesome, just making all the terror and violence just scarier. This movie was pretty awesome overall, and I definitely enjoyed it, and I will definitely be seeing this again. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of The Nightmare on Elm Street. Come back tomorrow for my next horror movie review. As always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates. Come back every week for a Chill Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys later.